Now, let's dive into today's webinar. This should be pretty short and sweet. This is just a bit of a teaser, if you will, in terms of branding and marketing, communications, all this kind of stuff for your Scout unit. So, we're going to dive into this here. Today's plan of attack, we're going to cover two out of these three things, the three P's of marketing: positioning, packaging, and promotion. At least that's what I used to say and still say today. So anyway, we're going to cover these two today of positioning and packaging, which is really talking about your unique brand story for your Scout unit and the brand experience that you have. Because all of our units, we do a lot of the same things, but we also do a lot of different things, whether you're a Cub Pack or you're a troop, or you're a crew, you're doing different activities and there's different personalities involved. And some units focus more on advancement, some are more into the adventures, some do a little bit of both. So this is how we figure this out. So one of the things that Jeff Bezos says, and I just love this quote, is your brand is what people say about you when you're not in the room. So that's what this is really all about. So what are people saying about scouts, about your Scout unit, about the scouting activities that are happening in the area? And we want to help them hone in and really understand the awesomeness that is scouting. For those of us who just love it and are into it, we just have this amazing experience and we know it. And it's time for us to really showcase that and share it with the world. And it's such a fantastic opportunity with hundreds of Scout units just here in the CPC, let alone thousands and thousands across the country. What a great opportunity to showcase how great scouting is, let alone the impact. For those of you who missed out or didn't see, there's sort of the stats. I'll just share with you one stat. Over COVID for the last year, just in Eagle projects alone, we here in the CPC, all the scouts out there and volunteers did 72,000 hours of community service. I mean, who else can say that, right? So let's share these great stories with the world. And really, it boils down to, first of all, positioning. So in the brand world and the marketing world, we talk about positioning, which is about branding. What is branding? It's really about building belief and trust. And with that, and coming up with a unique brand, if you will, of your Scout unit, it's about really connecting authentically with parents, with scouts who are going to connect with you and what you do and why you do it. And it, of course, differentiates you. I'm going to actually show you here. If we go into when we go into beascout.org, or we can actually see the differences in how different units position themselves. And it's really important to do that because parents want to see this. Potential parents and scouts want to see what you're all about. So this really matters actually before the ask, as we say, the ask being beascout.org or join scouting now, which is awesome. But people in some communities don't know scouting as well as in other communities. So it's really an opportunity to share with them that, hey, your kids are safe in this program. They're going to have an awesome time. They're going to grow in character and confidence. They're going to get unplugged. They're going to get outdoors. And you, dear parents, get to join them in the fun and the adventure. I mean, we were talking earlier about family camping, right? I mean, who can beat family camping at Camp Meriwether on the coast with 2 miles of coastline? Like I said, that's pretty darn fantastic. So how do we actually do this? We start by, some of you may have heard of the elevator pitch. If you haven't heard of an elevator pitch, this is marketing speak for just kind of a short and sweet sentence that you can say about your Scout unit, about who you are, what you do, and why you do it. And that's really what this is all about. So I'm going to share with you a little exercise here because this is actually kind of fun. As I mentioned, if you're heading into the program planning cycle, this is a really fun little exercise to get everybody on the same page, because it's not just immediately diving into just scouting stuff. This is about who are we as a Scout unit. So here's how you do it. And in full disclosure, we actually ran this through this actual process, a larger process of what you'll see today, actually with the Cascade Pacific Council when I joined here, and it was really, really great. And from that came all of this grit campaign stuff that you're seeing. It actually honed in on who we are uniquely in the Cascade Pacific Council. We're all about grit, and it's not just about getting dirty, as we said about COVID. It Boy, all of you out there, all of you scouts and volunteers, you showed grit over this past year. How fantastic and ironic that it actually fits who we are, right? It was truth about who we are authentically. So anyway, how do we do this? So really what it's about is you want to set up a meeting like your program planning. This actual process can be really, really fun. It could just take maybe a half hour or so. And what you do here, you're creating a billboard, if you will. What you're trying to hone in on here are 6 keywords that would fit on a billboard to describe who you are uniquely as a scout unit. And what this is, and the reason we say six, so in the old ad agency days, we used to say as people would drive by a billboard, they could only remember 6 words. You only put 6 words on a billboard. So that's what you're honing in on here. You're trying to find 6 keywords that uniquely define who you are as a unit, as a brand, as we like to say. And what happens is each one of these words actually becomes its own definition. And so what the process is, it's about helping you craft and create your own unique style, approach, and messaging. And what this does, and I'm going to show you this, what this does is then helps you hone in on like, wow, what is the message we want to share with the world, whether it's on our flyers, whether it's on our website, whether it's on our social media, all of that. So that's how this works. So the first step is you're going to include scouts and parents alike in this process. So you're going to set up your programming meeting or just a special meeting, and you're going to do this for about a half hour. You're going to brainstorm on Post-it notes, literally write on Post-it notes and post them on the wall, different keywords, different words that describe who we are as a scout unit. It could be we're about fun, we're about adventure, we're about hiking and camping and outdoors. It could be about we love advancement, we like crafts, we like whatever it is, making catapults, rockets, all that kind of stuff. You write all these words down, okay? You put all the words up on a wall, just splatter a wall full of these individual words on individual Post-it notes. What I recommend is a big, huge Post-it notes actually. So get a set of those big, huge Post-it notes and write the word really big on the Post-it note. Put them on the wall. You just slap them up on the wall there. Then everybody in the room gets to put their votes. They get to write down on a piece of paper what are their 6 favorite words. Okay, they write down the 6 favorite words on their piece of paper. Then what we do is you go around the room and everybody tells you what their words were, what their favorite words were, and every word gets a vote. Then you tally all of those words that got votes, put them higher up into the on the wall and say like, wow, those are all the words that got votes. What you'll notice is some words get lots of votes, some words get no votes, some words get a few votes. What you're trying to hone in on, then you have a discussion about, well, which words really fit us the best? Let's figure out our 6 words. And so you actually move the Post-it notes around. You can say like, oh, we're about hiking and camping. And well, what's the word that fits it? Oh, adventure. Adventure is actually the word that this is about. We're about adventure, which also means hiking and camping and outdoors and all of that. And so what you're doing is you're walking everybody through the process to vote, basically, if you will, on 6 words that really define uniquely who you are as a scout unit. And then from there, that highest votes, as I say here, the highest votes wins. All right. So imagine you've got these 6 keywords. Could be adventure, it could be growth, it could be Eagle Scouts, whatever it is. And what you do from there is you're going to create your elevator pitch. And this is kind of the magic formula. It's going to take a bit to digest. Now, remember, this is recorded. We're recording this here so you can look at it later. This will act as your cheat sheet. So you can go to the website, go to cpcbsa.org/webinars, and you'll see this here. And this will be your cheat sheet. And what this does is for people who are not copywriters, for people who don't do a lot of marketing, this is just a way to get you started in crafting and creating your elevator pitch. And remember, this is about being short and sweet, describing who you are. And again, before we pull them into join now, what we want to do is we want to pull people into the experience that is us as our unique scout unit, and then ask them to join, right? Which is why we do the join nights and things like that. But these days it's a little bit different because a lot of this stuff is digital. We haven't been meeting as much and all of that. So this is a way for us, as I'll explain here in a moment, a way for us to pull people into the experience that is scouting with us, with our individual unit, before they may even show up to an event or whatnot. So the objective of the elevator pitch, as you can see here, is that it should inspire people, a prospective parent, to say, oh, interesting, that sounds fun, tell me more, right? That's the real goal of an elevator pitch. So then you could tell more of the story. You could tell about your adventures. You could tell about the fun things you do on a weekly basis, or tell what you've been doing over COVID or not and why, and really explain more about your scout unit, pack, or troop, or whatnot. So the magic formula is we are, and you put your unit name there, we, and you use your keywords. So this is where those keywords start pulling in. We like to lead and inspire, as you can see there, kids, ages, whatever you are, if you're a pack or a troop or a crew, to do this thing. So pull again from your keywords, some verbs, some adjectives from that language, if you will, as we like to say. All those post-it notes are language you use that everybody in the room agreed on was our language that we could use for creating our pitch. And then you say, so the kids can do this, become great citizens, appreciate the outdoors, whatever your unique phrase is for that. That's what you're trying to hone in on. So you can actually do this together in the room if you want, which is really, really fun. Or you can have a couple people kind of craft and create it and work on it based on those keywords and that language that you put up on the wall. So this is kind of a fun process. As a matter of fact, it would be really fun for you troops. You could try your scribe at it. Who wants to be the next scribe? You got to come up with our elevator pitch. So that would be a way to go. Let's actually go check this out here. Let's go to beascout.org. And what we're going to do here is just for fun, I'm going to type in 97213. We're going to click Scouts BSA because that's just what I'm familiar with, right? As a Scoutmaster. But what we're going to do here is look at, because the end result here is we're going to add our elevator pitch to our Be a Scout pin here in Be a Scout. So this is really, really important. The reason is because once people are interested and then you tell them to go to Be a Scout or you ask them to join, they're going to do a search. And you want this to connect. You want to connect these messaging dots from a brand, quote unquote, perspective, right? And talking about your story. So let's check this out. So this is great. I pulled this up because, again, we have 3 troops right in our neighborhood here, and they're all fantastic, wonderful, wonderful people. But we'll kind of do it just a little bit different. So we want to share with what we're doing and how we're different. So here's Troop 117 at Rose City Park. They said, we're one of the oldest troops in Northeast Portland, started in 1927. We continue to provide a quality scouting program that builds character, leadership, self-reliance, physical fitness, and strong moral and ethical foundations. We focus on outdoor fun and adventure while making lifelong friendships. We strive to camp once a quarter and welcome parents to join the troop committee, which supports the youth-led activities. We meet every Monday between 6 and 7:15, 2 times a month in person. So there's that. Now you'll notice some of these scout units don't have anything, and this isn't a diss on any of those folks. I'm just saying, hey, we need to update our Be a Scout pins with this little tool that we're creating here. So you can see that they've actually got some positioning here of Troop 117, which is great. Here's Troop 5714 at Our Lady of the Vang Parish. We are an awesome Scouts BSA troop for girls in Northeast Portland. Contact us for more information. We'd love for you to check us out. So there's that one. You can kind of see the difference in how units are presenting themselves. Join now and travel with Troop 465 at Camp Meriwether, blah, blah, blah. They're really good, although it's a little out of date. So that troop needs to update that. Troop 107, prepare for prepare for epic adventures and exponential growth with Scouts BSA Troop 107. We focus on being active, getting outdoors, and growing boys into young men who have confidence and live by the Scout Oath and Law. Now, we don't have a girls troop, so we just promote the fact that we have boys, although we've been working on getting a girls troop, but there's another troop in our area that has girls, so it's great. Let's keep looking here. So here's Troop 351. Troop 351 is a very active unit, camping monthly. We pride ourselves in delivering an exciting programs planned and carried out by the youth. So anyway, the point is you can really see the difference here of how the units are talking about themselves differently. And what's great about this using the pitch is it should start honing in on the uniqueness of you and give you kind of some unique brand language, if you will, and then what happens is you just literally use it across the board. You use it on your Be a Scout pin, you can use it on your website, you can use it on your social media, all of that. Let's now go and check this out. So what I wanted to do was look at some practical approaches here. Is once you have that pitch, if you will, that messaging, that uniqueness of who you are, that what's great too about the process, just everybody agreed on it. So everybody in the room really feels connected to it, all the scouts, all the parents, and you could do this once in a while, every few years, you go through the same process. But it's interesting, I think that a lot of units kind of have a similar, no matter who's in leadership or whatnot, boy, it sure seems to remain the same. That brand, if you will, of the scout unit, that really seems to remain the same, which is fun. So let's check this out here. What you can do is the next step here, we talked about positioning, which is that messaging part. Now it's packaging, and then we'll talk about promotion actually next week. But packaging is, how do we present this brand to the world? And so what we say here is, there are a couple of ways we can do it, right? We all know this, but I just kind of wanted to give an overview because there are some pluses and minuses to doing some things. Because remember, at least in my experience, is that we want to pull people in. It's actually why we do the GRIT campaign. The cpcbsa.org/grit is where we're driving everybody, because they get a free book, they get a great adventure kit, but then what they actually get is they get an series of emails that talks to the parents about scouting, about the CPC, about these adventures, and a series of emails. It's called nurturing. We want to educate people and pull them into why scouting is different and whatnot. But you as a unit do the same thing by having a Facebook page, by having a website. This is about really, and what's interesting, I'll tell you what, there aren't a lot of scout units that are doing this. So it's such a wonderful opportunity to present ourselves out there in the world publicly in real positive ways and show these things that most kids don't get to do, right? That's why we do this. So let's check out Pack 351 here. Let's go to their Facebook page. And one of the things I will mention, as I mentioned here in the slide, is that you want to agree with parents. If you're going to create a public page, just work with your parents and talk about the content that you're going to post. Are we okay with posting pictures of the kids? Are we not? Who is? Who isn't? You want to have everybody on the same page here. But here's Pack 351. They do a fantastic job, not only on here but on Instagram, which is fantastic. They are what I call simulcasting. They're publishing their content both on Instagram and Facebook. I'm just going to show you Facebook now because there is more interactivity to it. There are also opportunities to promote your content to your neighborhood, to your area. So we'll talk about that next week, actually. But just check this out. This is really, really fun. So Pack 351, they post, hey, Nova Club is tonight. Den meeting tonight, some fun things, and they're getting some engagement, right? You have lots of people are able to like it, to promote it. What's awesome is we tell parents, and this is new for a lot of parents, just get on there and share it. That's kind of a key. This pack has a lot of kids, a lot of parents involved, so they have more opportunity to actually have everybody share it. And something that we're working on with our unit, because it's kind of new for us too, is getting the parents to share it with their friends and post it in places. But you can see just the fun different posts. I mean, you get a sense of like, wow, this pack is really fun. Look at, they're doing some fun. We're at St. Ignatius Church on Mother's Day. Oh, wow, we can come make a gift for mom. That is fantastic. Oh, and we can look at the pictures. So you can see that they're showing that they're active, they're engaged, they're really promoting all of the activities they're doing on a weekly basis, if not almost daily, it seems. So anyway, and actually reusing some of the content, which is great. You don't have to keep building new pieces all of the time. I'll share with you the recruiting of the cpcbsa.org page where you can get some downloads as well that you just keep using, which is great. So you can see that's how they're doing it. So it just showcases what fun they're having. And anyway, so they're having just a really good time and they're very, very active. Now let's go to Troop 542. We're going to actually show you their page as well, because this is fun too. You can see Troop 542, really fun. Even that is really great because it's very gritty. I'm assuming that this troop likes to go out and play outdoors. And as a matter of fact, wow, it sure looks like they do, because they've got let's go to the about page here. Or actually, we'll go to the discussion here, because what's fun is they've got lots of activities happening. They did their May camp out. I mean, this is so great. It's such an easy way to promote your scout unit, show that you're engaged and doing things. I mean, especially post-COVID, this is such a great opportunity to showcase some of the things we have been doing and some of the things that we are doing currently, and how you're scouting safely, and that the kids are just having a great time. So, and look at this, packing your backpack. That's actually really interesting here. Here are some guidelines to help you pack for our camp out. And a piece of content like this is beneficial to everybody, right? Who doesn't need to know this? Although we scouts tend to do it all the time. I always need to review it and go like, am I really doing this right? No matter how much I backpack, I always wonder if I'm doing this right. But anywho, so you can see the great examples of different kinds of content that showcase, who they are. It looks like this troop obviously is very active in outdoors, which is really, really great. All right, so next thing you can do is you can build a website. Now, Facebook is free, yes. Building a website, especially if you're going to have a custom domain name, a custom URL, um, you do have to pay for it. So I have yet to find something that's free that gives you a decent experience and is easy to update. So I'm going to share with you real quickly here. It's just our website, and because I know how it works, but it's built on Wix. Wix is super simple, and as we say, the KISS method, just keep it simple, Scouts. And because you can just create a simple one-page website. Now, it does cost money. It costs 12 bucks a month to do a website on Wix. Some people use Squarespace as well. There are some units using Squarespace, which is great too. And I think the price is about the same, 12, 14 bucks. But in all actuality, hey, 144 bucks a year. You can do a fundraiser for that. You can sell a few cases of popcorn and you got it paid for, right? So it's really, I believe it's worth it for a couple of reasons. One is search engine optimization. As you do start doing a search, if you wherever you're at, just do a search for scout units in your area, see what comes up. Actually, let's do this. We will do, what I'm going to use here is DuckDuckGo. If you don't know what DuckDuckGo is, it basically doesn't cache your searches. So we can do a search for Northeast Portland, Oregon Scout Troop. Let's see what pops up. It basically gives you an unbiased look at what the results would be. So you can see here what's coming up, and you want to do this. You want to see what's coming up for a lot of these. So we can look and see what the websites are coming up, how active they are, how engaged they are. You can see where the competition is, if you will. And you want to see what's popping up. So cpcbsa.org is popping up. Some pop up because they have a lot of content. Some pop up because they've been around for a long time. The longer you're around, the more likely it is for your Scout Troops website to appear. Now, so that said, is you can also leverage it because you actually, what's great is you can promote it on your Facebook page. You can promote it on your anytime you're doing posts. Then with all of these things, what's so great is that we at the CPC can also promote it if you want. So we can actually, when we see, for instance, one of your Eagle Scouts doing something great and they do their project, we can then say it was from troop so and so. Or if your pack is doing a super fun activity or has created something fun, we can cross promote that. We can say visit them. We can share your post on from Facebook, which is really, really nice, and we can share that with the world. So it's really a great way for us to promote scouting in the broader area, but it's a great way for people to become aware of what you're doing. So the point is that if you want to create a simple website, it's actually really interesting because if you do a search, what I'd recommend is do a search for the scout units in your area, packs and troops or whatever, see what they're doing. Is anybody doing something really, really great? And are they, because a lot of units just aren't really doing anything in terms of their web presence. So it's such a great opportunity for all of us to reconfigure that and go like, well, what does it really take? I'll tell you what it takes is about an hour of your time. Once you have this messaging down, you create a page just like this on Wix. It literally took me less than an hour to set up. And I have our messaging, right? Epic adventures, exponential growth. We just post some of the stuff that our unit is doing, what we've been up to. Here's our trip to Yosemite, what we're doing, our high adventure trip this year, talking about that, giving a little bit of information about our troop. Also, of course, a COVID meeting update. This was important because just really wanted to share with folks that, hey, once we were back at meeting, once we had that lull and we weren't meeting, but basically saying, hey, we're currently meeting outdoors safe, and here's where we do it. Then from here is when you pull people in to join it today at beascout.org, and then that links you to the actual Be a Scout pin, which is really, really great. So that's what you want to leverage here is the Be a Scout pin. Just going to show up because I haven't logged in yet, but that's where you'd actually see that. So outdoor adventure for all, we have a bunch of the pictures of the kids and the parents having a great time doing all these great epic adventures, as we like to say, right? This page costs us 12 bucks a month. It took about an hour to build, and to update it takes no time whatsoever. Now, what's really great Wix has all these templates. I was going to show you an example of how to do that. I just want to be careful of our time. I would recommend you actually can start the free trial of it. It actually is free if you don't want to have a custom domain name. So you can set up a free Wix site. It ends up being kind of a different URL, different domain name, a different website address. It doesn't give you your specific unique address, but Wix, for instance, and Squarespace too, they let you purchase a domain name, basically for give you a free domain name once you if you're going to sign up with them for a year. Typically that's kind of the normal approach. But with Squarespace or Wix, it takes about an hour to create it. What you can do is, hey, you can get one of the kids who wants to be webmaster, who wants that for troops, for instance. If one of the kids wants to actually have become the troop webmaster, they can actually use this as a way to help promote the troop and get that rank advancement, which is really, really great, and having that leadership position. So it's a great opportunity, and it's so simple. I mean, it takes no time whatsoever. This is a super great website. And not great for anything other than the technology is such that it's very mobile friendly. You go to t107pdx.com, you can see what it looks like on mobile. Super easy to navigate. This is literally just a one-page website. Now, there are pluses and minuses. Pluses is that it's a one-page website. It took me no time to create. The minuses is our content. So your search engine optimization is going to improve the longer your website's around and the more content you have. So if you have stories, if you had photo galleries and things, these are things that we need to do on our site, but we haven't done it yet. So, but that's just a recommendation. So when you do a search for those units in your area, likely they have been around for a long time and have had their web presence up for a long time. That doesn't mean to say that you can't do not just a better job, but really promote yourself in a really unique way and showcasing your scout unit. So that's why I think it's important to do that. Then, of course, we want to update our Be a Scout pin with, like we were sharing, we really wanted to showcase how. So for instance, we can see here Troop 351 has their URL right here, their website address. Let's scroll down here. Some are using the old Troop web host, which I won't go there right now, but some of them have the older tools, which, that's fine, but some of them actually have a newer website program that they're using, like Wix or Squarespace. Some of them actually are using WordPress, things like that. But you can see you can use our actual domain name right here. So it's a great way for folks to see, again, to pull people into the brand experience that is you and your scout unit. So that's why that's important. Now, the other thing I wanted to just chat about real quick here is that if you need resources, if you're kind of struggling with some marketing materials, or you just want some of this grit stuff that we've got and things like that, is that you can go to cpcbsa.org/recruiting, and that'll take you to this page. It actually redirects you to this page where there's a whole bunch of tools here. So, and we're always adding more to it. So for instance, there are ways, of course, we'll talk more about this when we talk about promotion next week, but I just wanted to share with you quickly that there are some just fun little great social media headers and posts. You can use that. You can just drag and drop all of these images. You can use them as much as you want. You literally don't have to create stuff. So you can just grab these, post one a week, whatever you want to do. So we've got some about the Cub Scouts, about Grit starts here in Cub Scouts, and then the messaging of Grit lasts forever for Scouts BSA. So that's kind of the message that we're going to be promoting over the next year or so, which is really, really fun. And then, just so you know, you can go to this page, and if you want to share some stats that I was talking about earlier, is we have some statistics here about when the world shut down, we showed Grit. Here's our 2020 impact. What's great is that it just gives you some stats and facts that you can share. Use this in your posts and things like that. Because the reason is, this is different. Most organizations are not don't make the impact that we do. And we have such a great opportunity to showcase this impact. Of course, then again, you can leverage this. You can use this on Nextdoor whenever you're doing an event, or not just join nights, but just sharing an activity that you're doing. If you're doing a navigation, or you're making catapults, or you're doing rockets, or whatever it is, you can promote that on Nextdoor, and on Pamplin Media has an opportunity to promote that as well. So, and what we have here is just some copy to get you started. You can even do this on your phone. You should be able to copy paste any of this copy from your phone onto into Nextdoor. So it should be very mobile friendly. If it's not, let me know. And we also have videos and stuff here as well. So these are, again, just great little pieces of content. You can download them. There's Facebook size, there's Instagram size, and just use them as content. Use them as content. So even if your unit is not meeting, but you're planning on it, share that with everybody. Say, hey, we're not meeting in person right now. We're so excited to get back to it. Here's our plan. Here's our approach, and this is what we're up to. And but here's also what we're all about. So that's something to look at and to be able to use those as resources. There's also a fillable event flyer here. There's some other tools and stuff. We'll talk a lot more about this next week, but just so you know, the recruiting page, we're kind of continually evolving this and adding new content to it. So I highly recommend going there and checking out, because you don't have to create all these posts and things like that on your own. That's my goal, is to give you resources, give you tools that you can use that you don't have to, because I know how much work it is to run a scout unit and run your life and be a parent and all that kind of stuff. So we want to try and make it as easy as possible for you to promote your scout unit. Let's see here. So next up, what we're going to talk about next week, as I mentioned, we're almost done here. If anybody has any questions here on Facebook or in the chat here live here, feel free to toss me a question. And because what we're going to talk about next week is the promotion part, which is the more interesting part, as everybody likes to think about, is I want to do the marketing stuff. That's fun. But coming up with your positioning and packaging is really key. We can go out there and promote ourselves, but if we look kind of crummy on the web, or we haven't updated our Facebook page for 2 years, things like that, it's not going to bode well, right? So you can market to people all you want, but if they get that experience, that next step experience, and it's not enjoyable, and it's like, wow, boy, these people haven't been doing anything for a while, this looks kind of boring. So we want to make sure our positioning and packaging is key. Again, it's not difficult. It's not expensive. And again, you can do like the Wix and Facebook can actually be free. But if you want to invest a little bit, it doesn't cost too much. So what we want to do as a teaser for next week is I want you to go to the website at cpcbsa.org/recruiting. If you haven't done this already, you can order brand new banners, even if there are banners for Scouts BSA and Cub Scout units of all different types. And if you're meeting, this is going to work great. If these banners look just like this, it talks about, and there's different versions, of course, because I can't just do one. So what we'll do is you can actually put on when you're meeting and the contact information. This is, again, why the website part is important, or having your Facebook URL is important to put on there, or just even an email address. And you can hang these banners up. They're pretty large. So check that out. You can then join us next week, because we're actually going to talk more about some new promotional tools we're developing, as well as some new resources and assets, lots of great stuff, and some tips and tricks. So once you've built your Facebook page especially, and one thing to think about is, again, remember agreeing with your families, with your parents, like, what are we okay with promoting? You could even just use the CPC content that I was sharing on the recruiting page, and you could use our graphics, our imagery there, and you can post, then you're part of the story. So you can use these images and then just talk about your unit. If the parents are not comfortable with sharing pictures of their kids, then just use these. And because we have rights to all of this stuff. So feel free to use it and share your story. Because next week, we're going to talk about how you can actually use that to do some promotions and whatnot. So that's your next task. Order a banner, add your contact info, website or Facebook page to the banner. Once you receive it, you'll get it. Once you order it, you'll receive it in about 10 days. It'll come right to your door, and you can check that out. So I don't see there are any questions. I'm going to check this out here on Facebook. Any questions? I'm not seeing any, which is groovy, and none here. Oops. Deb Hildebrand just told me on chat that she got Pack 351's banner. Woohoo! So super excited. Can't wait to see that up. And if you get your banner, I'd love to see a picture of it. So if you put it up, these are big, like the ones you see at a baseball field or whatnot. So if you put it up somewhere, by golly, send us a picture of it. And because, again, remember, once we are able to connect with your Facebook page or your URL, your website, we can promote that, and we'd love to share that with everybody, because this is all teamwork, making the dream work. So, all right, nobody else has any questions. Awesome. We will go to our next slide here and call it good. So thank you all so much for joining. I hope you enjoyed this. It'll obviously be recorded, and the recording is going to be sitting at our cpcbsa.org/webinars page there. And so you'll see that available here shortly. And last reminder for those of you in the CPC, please don't forget that we have Roundtable on Thursday night. That's tomorrow night. You'll have an email on that. You actually should have received an email reminder, but that'll be also in the next email you receive tomorrow in our weekly newsletter. So anyway, thank you all for joining us today, and have a fantastic rest of your week.